One of the most interesting things about COBOL systems is that it's not too old, the way people think about it. They are not abandoned, they are pretty much alive. These programs still run payrolls, airport transfers, bookings, bank transfers, banking systems, everything around. So, in a day to day basis, you're essentially interacting with something or the other that is built on top of COBOL. The real issue isn't that COBOL doesn't work. It works extremely well. As you know, most of these heavy lifting things are pretty much covered by COBOL. The challenge is that it is hard, documentation is missing, business logic is buried in decades of code, and small updates can bring huge risk to it. So, how does Zenflow essentially help in this case? So, let's take a very simple example. And in this demo today, we'll be building up a very simple example of a banking system, a simple banking system built on top of COBOL. We'll be implementing a very small fraud warning flag for transactions that are over $10,000. And we'll use Zenflow to essentially orchestrate that, build that on top of the existing code base, and then deploy it and then see that the entire thing in action. So yeah, this is Shantanu Vishwanatha. I work as a developer advocate at Zencoder. So yeah, let's get this rolling. All right. So let's now implement the fraud flag when the transaction goes beyond $10,000. So to do that, what I've done is I've opened my COBOL banking system project in Zenflow, and once I have that ready, so there are a few workflows that I have that Zencoder ships with. So again, quick change, fix a bug, spec and build, and full STD workflow. So since we are not implementing a full-blown feature or a POC, so this is not what I'll choose. I'll go ahead and choose spec and build. So what I'll do is I'll click on start, define the task name. So this is, and now we'll describe the task in detail. Okay, perfect. So now this is where the configuration can happen for your agent. So right now what I have is Opus 4.5 from Zencoder, and you can create your own preset. You can change to any other model that you want. So right now what I'm doing is I'm selecting Opus 4.5, and this is blast mode. You can create multiple agents to do one single task. So for now, I'm just using a single agent. I'll go ahead and click on create and run. Now the agent will start jotting down, understanding the repository in detail, and will start jotting down what it has to do. And it will go through the entire code base, understand each bit of it, and then will suggest what needs to be done. So it should take a while, and it was because again, it was going through each piece of code and trying to understand what's happening behind the scenes. So we let the agent run through, and then we'll come back again. So as you can see, the agent has went through the entire code base, understood what it has to do, and in this case, it has created a detailed plan.md file, which has a detailed rundown and instructions of what would the implementation look like. And when you move to the implementation step, the agent again has broken down the things into multiple chunks. It also writes unit tests to make sure the code that is written is clean enough and lint free. So now my next step would be to start the implementation process for our feature flag. And again, the same process would happen, go through the code, understand what it has to do, and we'll start implementing it right away. So we should give this a few minutes and we'll come back once the implementation is done. The agent has successfully implemented the feature flag that we just prompted to the agent. All the test cases have successfully passed. Now let's see that in action and let's see how that works. So what I'll do is I've opened up my terminal here. I'll just go ahead, paste code, and there you go. The agent has opened up, the terminal has opened up the COBOL banking system. First is let's go ahead and view all the accounts that we have. Let's just select this account, click on for withdrawal, ID, and let's say $15,000. So as you can see, I mean, again, it's a very basic feature. So the transaction has been flagged for review. The withdrawal was successful, but the transaction has been flagged. Now, if we do like a minimum transaction, which is less than $10,000, the flag won't happen. So go ahead, paste it again, and just do $100. That's it. As you can see, the flag didn't come up here. This is just a very basic feature that we just tried implementing. And based on your complexity, the Zenflow can essentially build out easy and cool applications for you on top of COBOL. At the end, instead of guessing, we have a verified workflow that asks something like this, a very simple transaction flag that we just implemented. So even though COBOL systems are pretty complex, Zenflow gives the teams a very modern way to safely evolve them, one small feature at a time, with structure, validation, and AI assistance building everything at once in Zenflow. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next one.